A longtime homicide unit investigator and supervisor, he knows firsthand how tragedies like this can happen. Please help me welcome Sheriff Waters.
So good morning, and thank you for having me here today. I'm Sheriff T.K. Waters, as already been stated, and I stand here with the men and women of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office and our great partners to deliver an important message. We are entering the most dangerous months pertaining to children and cars. Please do not allow for an avoidable tragedy. Our agency has responded to numerous calls involving children left in hot cars. But it's not just children, though most important, who can be harmed by being left in their hot cars. Adults with developmental differences and pets can also be victims. Leaving someone in a car, even just for a few minutes, can cause serious bodily harm or even death. We don't want to see any more tragedies. These incidents are 100% preventable. In September of 2022, a father left his young daughter in a car on the north side while he was working on a house. He found the baby an hour later, attempted CPR, and called 911, but it was already too late. Our partner agencies in Jacksonville Beach and Baker County have also responded to tragedies just like these in recent years. And I've said many times before, one death is one death too many. Whether you're a busy parent, a daycare operator, a babysitter, you must be vigilant. We have detectives from our homicide and special assault units here with us today. They investigate these heartbreaking cases. Our patrol officers respond to these scenes, and together we mourn losses. We can do what we can do to prevent these injuries and deaths. First, please understand the dangers. Second, follow proven guidelines to prevent leaving a child, adult, or a pet in vehicle. Third, use available technology as an added safeguard. And finally, for everyone, stay alert and look out for people or pets left in vehicles. You'll learn more details about all of these from my fellow speakers, and I'm grateful for their partnership. Remember, a vehicle acts like a greenhouse, and it can quickly become a deadly trap. Our officers will enforce the law when it comes to leaving children in vehicles, including filing criminal charges when appropriate. Likewise, we will break into vehicles if necessary to save lives. We will continue fighting to protect our most vulnerable community members, but we cannot do it alone. We need the public's partnership, so please stay alert, stay informed, and take the extra time to double-check your vehicle before walking away. Thank you for your time, and thank you to all of our partners that are here today for this very, very important message. Now, I'd like to introduce Dr. Lynn Sherman from the City of Jacksonville for a proclamation. Lynn?
Good morning. I am deeply honored and privileged to stand before you this morning to present this proclamation on behalf of our beloved Mayor, Donna Deegan. This proclamation is a testament of her steadfast commitment to our community, her compassion and her tireless efforts to make Jacksonville a better place for all its residents. Mayor Deegan has always been an advocate for the voiceless, the vulnerable, and those in need of support, especially our children. Her dedication to creating a more inclusive and accessible city for all people is truly commendable. In the face of adversity and challenges, she has always stood as a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, and a champion of those who need it the most. Under Mayor Deegan's leadership, we have seen and continue to see remarkable progress in promoting the well-being of our citizens. I would like to read this proclamation on behalf of Mayor Deegan. Whereas each year, hundreds of children across the United States suffer from heat stroke after being left unattended in vehicles, one of the leading causes of non-crash vehicle-related fatalities for children under the age of 15. And whereas heat stroke can happen quickly, even on days with mild temperatures. Within minutes, the temperature inside a parked car can rise to dangerous levels, putting children and vulnerable individuals at severe risk. And whereas education and awareness are critical tools in preventing these tragic and preventable deaths, public safety campaigns like National Heatstroke Prevention Day help inform families, caregivers about the dangers of heat stroke and emphasize simple life-saving practices such as checking the back seat every time you park and never leave a child unattended in a vehicle. And whereas local safety advocates, healthcare professionals, and emergency responders play an essential role in spreading awareness and working to prevent child vehicular heat stroke through outreach, policy efforts, and community engagement. And whereas the City of Jacksonville joins communities across the country in observing National Heatstroke Prevention Day to honor the lost lives and renew our commitment to protecting our most vulnerable residents from preventable harm. Now, therefore, Mayor Donna Deegan, by virtue of the authority vested in her as mayor of the City of Jacksonville, do hereby proclaim May 1st, 2025 as National Heat Stroke Day in Jacksonville and encourage all residents to stay alert, stay informed, and join her in promoting awareness and prevention strategies to keep our community safe, especially our children. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce a very special person this morning to you all. It is my pleasure to introduce her. She serves as the president of Save Kids Worldwide, Taureen Kretpe. Taureen has dedicated her career to making a meaningful difference in the lives of children and families, especially the most vulnerable. She leads an organization that works throughout the United States to protect kids from preventable injuries, and we're proud to have her with us today. Please join me in welcoming Taureen Kretpe.
Thank you, Sheriff Waters and Len. On behalf of Safe Kids Worldwide, we are truly grateful for your work on this issue. Today is National Heatstroke Prevention Day, and on the first day of Safe Kids Month. And I'm happy to be here in Jacksonville for an event that is all about keeping kids safe. I have to say, I have dedicated over 25 years of my life to this mission, especially heat stroke. Our biggest challenge is that parents don't think a hot car death can happen to them. But this tragedy does not discriminate. It can happen to anyone, any time of the year or any part of the country, and it doesn't take a day like today for it not to happen. Over the last 25 years, at least 1,125 children have died in hot cars in the United States, and at least another 7,500 have survived with varying degrees of injury. Florida has had the second most deaths of any state, and when we look closer at the data to see where those incidents occurred, particularly over the last 10 years, we saw a cluster of such incidents in Duval and surrounding counties. And you heard that today from the sheriff. Knowing that this is overrepresented in this time period and that we can do more by working together, I'm excited to unite with so many partners today who are committed to preventing these tragedies. Rashandia and Dawn, thank you for hosting us today. This is the first time that I've been at a child care center that I can tell they understand the purpose and the mission of the work of Save Kids Worldwide. I cannot think of a better location to hold this event or a better champion for this issue. More than half of hot car deaths occur when a driver unintentionally leaves their child in the car, often when the child is supposed to be dropped off at daycare. If you're going to truly follow the data and reach families where they are, then our work must include engaging and partnering with child care facilities to take the necessary steps that you have already implemented. Posting flyers, sharing tips, educating staff and parents, and creating a system to alert parents if a child doesn't show up to child care as expected. And I can honestly say I have a 17-year-old and we still do that till this day. These efforts can save a life, and we are grateful that you are providing an example for others to follow. We also know that meteorologists are an important part of raising awareness, especially during those intense summer months and heat waves. Michelle McCormick, a meteorologist from Channel 4, is with us today, and we're grateful that she is using her platform to save lives. I'd like to acknowledge Rhonda Cerulli, who has been a true champion for Safe Kids at the state level, that's here today. Jessica Winberry, who's from Northeast Florida, who is one of our biggest advocates in our home office in Washington, D.C., and everyone at Safe Kids Northeast Florida and their lead agency at Wolfson Children's Hospital. Thank you for your commitment, not only today, but every day. And thank you to my fellow speakers and all the representatives from law enforcement and fire and rescue for joining us today and for putting so much energy into this issue. And Makia Wallace, I can't even say the words. You know what you mean to me personally and to our organization at Safe Kids Worldwide. Thank you for honoring your sweet Jace by sharing your story today and for allowing our organizations to be part of Love Like Jace. And I cannot leave out Jatoya and Jakayla, his big sisters. Our greatest wish is that heat stroke won't claim the life of another child. The important thing to remember is that these tragedies are 100% preventable with a few simple precautions. Here's what we want everyone to know. Look before you lock. Never leave a child alone in a car. Lock your doors and keep your keys and key fobs out of the reach of kids. And please ask your neighbors to do the same. Create reminders by putting something in the back of your car that you'll need at your final destination. And if you see a child alone in a car, take action. Call 911. Stay with the car. Emergency personnel are trained to respond to these situations. 2 years ago, we saw 29 car deaths. Last year, we lost 40 children. We're here today because one child is one too many. By working together, we can save lives and save parents from the anguish of losing a child. The families right here in Jacksonville and throughout Florida and around the country deserve nothing less. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Brian Gilligan, a pediatric emergency medicine specialist with Emergency Resources Group and the medical director of pediatric emergency services at Wolfson Children's Hospital.
Thank you, Tareen. To make a meaningful impact on this or any issue, we need to come together in partnership. As they say, it takes a village, but a village needs a strong leader. And we all appreciate what Safe Kids Worldwide is doing under your leadership to bring awareness to this problem. So again, thank you. As she said, my name is Brian Gilligan. I'm a pediatric emergency medicine doctor, a PEM doctor. I have worked at Wolfson Children's Hospital for the last 25 years. And like a lot of you, I'm a parent, I have kids, I have grandkids. And so this is a very important topic for me. The death of a child left in a hot car, or the death of a child caused by being left in a hot car, is certainly tragic and preventable. For those of us who live in warmer climates, we know how hot the inside of a car gets. You leave your car out in the parking lot for a half an hour when you run into the store, you come back out, and it's pretty hot. But I think many are still surprised how quickly this happens and what the dangerous implications are. As you can see from the temperature display back here, these temperatures raise to dangerous levels fairly quickly. This goes up about 20 degrees inside the car every 10 minutes. When I got here it was around 110. I think it's 102 now, so it's cooled off a little bit. It doesn't have to be a real hot day to be hot inside that car. And with the windows down a little bit, it doesn't cool the car off significantly. So we all have to be careful. As we know with children, especially the infants and the toddlers, they are more vulnerable to heat than most of the adults. There's certainly a vulnerable population that was discussed with adults as well. It's estimated that kids' body temperature rises 3 to 5 times faster than it does for an adult. And children aren't able to handle that rise, that heat. They aren't able to dissipate it as quickly just because of different physiologic properties. And as the body heats up, they may start to show signs of heat exhaustion. They start to get red, they start to sweat, they may get real tired and weak. Their heart rate's probably going up. If we can intervene early and get them out of that situation, out of that hot car, cool their body temperature down, get them something to drink, rehydrate them, most of these kids do okay. But these children that are left a little bit longer in the car where the body temperature continues to rise, and usually above 104, sometimes higher, they'll start to have neurologic decompensation. You'll see increasing confusion. You may see seizures. They may slip into coma. They may have other organ systems that are involved, and this can be a fatal outcome potentially. And this is what we call heat stroke, this greater than 104 temperature with all these serious complications and potentially death. And this can happen in as little as 15 to 20 minutes in a sufficiently hot car. It happens quickly. This is the tragedy that we are here and talking about because we want to prevent that. And these tragedies tend to occur, obviously, by accident, right? Generally in one of three ways, and Taryn did describe these. More than half of the time, it's a caregiver who is distracted, maybe out of their typical routine. They've got a baby who's sleeping in the car, and then instead of going straight to work like they're supposed to do, they're responsible for dropping the child off at daycare that day. And they forget, they're distracted, and the child ends up being left in the car. Occasionally it's a child who is left in a car knowingly. Maybe the baby was crying and fussy and you just got him to sleep and you have to run that quick errand. And so you leave the child in the car and run your quick errand. And then you get distracted and you get delayed and time goes by and that child is left in that hot car alone. And occasionally it's other ways. She had talked about locking cars, very important. Kids in my neighborhood, my own kids, they play hide and go seek. I can tell you we've had kids try and get into cars to hide. It's a great hiding place, very dangerous. And unfortunately, sometimes they're not able to get out of the car on time. So I think we as parents want to do everything we can to protect our children. We put them in car seats to keep them safe. When they're toddlers, we put locks on drawers and cabinets and put cleaning products and all these dangerous things up and out of their reach. We have fences around our pools. We do what we can to keep our kids safe. And we must really treat the risk of hot car deaths in the same way. This is tragic. So make that conscious effort. Create that habit of putting your phone, your purse, your backpack, your briefcase in the back seat, something by the child, just to help you remember, that, hey, I got to grab that. Oh, by the way, my child is there. Because we do all get distracted. It's just part of nature, part of life. And never leave your child unattended to go into a store, ever. Don't ever do that. And always, again, lock the cars to prevent kids from getting in. Let's keep our children safe and prevent these potentially tragic outcomes. I appreciate you allowing me to come and speak for a few minutes. Thank you very much. And I would like to now introduce Nancy Chamberlain from Kids in Car Safety. Nancy?
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure and an honor to be included in this day. Kids in Car Safety honors this day, the National Heatstroke Prevention Day, by focusing on prevention, advocacy, and today we want to talk a bit about technology. We know what the problem is. Kids die in hot cars, or kids have lifetime injuries related to heat-related injuries. We also know what the solution is, and we were going to talk about that today, and we've already have. Thank you. We recognize that a hot car tragedy can happen to everyone, anyone, even the most caring parent, grandparent. I'm a parent. I'm a grandma. This is important to me. I taught first aid and CPR for 38 years, and I always included hot car information. So when I came to Kids in Car Safety, it was like coming home professionally. This matters to me personally. And obviously to all of you, we wouldn't be here today. So that's wonderful. We love our kids, we take good care of our kids, and we need to be attentive to the most vulnerable, as we said. We talked about how this tragedy actually happens and how it unfolds, and it's about losing awareness. It's not that we don't remember or that we forget we have children. We don't forget. We've lost awareness, and I think that's a really important paradigm shift in the way we speak about hot car tragedies. It's the losing awareness. Neuroscientists have actually come to this topic and said our brains are not wired to stop zoning out or losing awareness or the forget. The result of a child left in an unattended car in the heat is obviously catastrophic. And we ask ourselves, can this be prevented? And the answer is absolutely yes. And it is a partnership. It's a partnership between automobile manufacturers, Congress, we're going to talk about that in a minute, advocacy groups, and parents. Technology exists right now today that can detect the rising and fall of a child breathing, of an infant breathing, just that very movement. It's amazing. Some of these systems in radar are so sensitive that they can actually catch that every breath and can determine whether it's a child, an infant, an adult, or a pet. Cars remind us about everything. If you've driven a car lately, it reminds you to check the oil. It reminds you to get your tires checked, your tire pressure, your lane changes. It reminds you of everything. Can we not add a reminder of a child, an infant in a car? Congress passed a law in 2021 requiring the U.S. Department of Transportation to issue safety standards, making this type of technology mandatory in all new vehicles. Congress gave the Department of Transportation a deadline of November 2023. That deadline has passed. And in the 1.5 years since that deadline was declared, we have lost another 130 children to heat-related injuries and death. Automakers don't have to wait for new standards to be promulgated. Some automobile makers have already included this life-saving technology in their vehicles. Genesis, Volvo, Toyota, Hyundai, and Kia are among the many manufacturers that have included this technology. We actually have a Genesis here for you today. After the speakers have spoken, they will actually demonstrate that technology for you. These manufacturers are proof that this is not only possible in our current technology, it is the responsible thing to do. There's nothing wrong with getting ahead of the minimum standards declared by the Department of Transportation. Beyond technology, parents have a role to play in this situation. That reminder that you spoke of having something in a car seat, something in your car, whatever reminds you. We like to talk about putting a child's favorite stuffy in the car seat. I assure you that my grandchildren would never have allowed the stuffy to be removed from their car seat. And so you put it on the front seat, and that tells you that that young one is with you. I have a list of handouts if anybody's interested. I also have a bag of materials, including a rescue me tool for everyone here today. It also describes the different technologies between radar, ultrasound, and the end of trip reminders. If anyone's interested in those materials, we have them today. Kids in Car Safety is going to continue to support families who have experienced a tragedy. We're going to continue to call for policy change, research, product development, and education regarding the prevention of babies and children, primarily under the age of 3, unintentionally left in the vehicle. We're going to continue that support, and we are going to call on the Department of Transportation to continue to work towards that law and the standards being written for those technologies. The price of our inaction is the loss of a baby. I take that seriously. That could have been my baby. So I appreciate you all being here today. It's amazing, and I thank you all for including kids in car safety. I'll be here later if anyone has any questions. Thank you very much. Oh, I'd like to introduce Joe Colella. And come on up, Joe. And he's with JPMA. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Joe Colella. I'm the Director of Child Passenger Safety for the Juvenile Products Manufacturers Association, as well as our nonprofit arm for the industry. The industry is committed to preventing these horrible tragedies, and I've been an advocate for 31 years, and I can tell you I'm personally committed as well. Once again, an average of 37 children die in hot cars every single year, and each and every one of these deaths is preventable. Parent awareness is really the key. Parent awareness and attention to the tips that we're providing here today is the best way to prevent those tragedies right now. But to supplement that, as Nancy just shared with us, there are technologies that are currently available, both in vehicles and in car seats. And more of them continue to be developed. They continue to be improved. Remember that more than half of the children who died every year since 1990, Turing told us 1,125 children have died, were accidentally left in the car. And it's usually after a schedule change or some other out-of-the-ordinary disruption that occurred. And these situations can be mitigated by vehicle and car seat technologies. So because children are precious and behavior is difficult to consistently change, car seat and vehicle makers are voluntarily going beyond what's required of them and adding sensing and reminding systems. So as we heard, many vehicles have systems that remind a driver to check the back seat under certain circumstances. Other ones have more advanced systems that actually sense the presence of an occupant, even down to the breathing of a child. And several car seat brands have also taken on this challenge and have added sensor systems that are paired with the driver's smartphones, and they provide warnings when a child is unintentionally left behind. Each of those car seat systems works differently, but in a nutshell, they're sensing the presence of a child, and when the parent is separated from the child, they're notifying the parent, warning the parent on their cell phone to help to prevent a tragedy from occurring. Since these systems are not currently regulated, the manufacturers, the developers, have extensively researched their effectiveness, both during the development process and also on an ongoing basis after the products are out there in the field. In addition to that, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which regulates vehicles and car seats, is conducting its own assessment of these systems. The goal is to ensure that future regulations and recommendations are based on scientific proof of what works best. So these technological systems can help prevent child deaths and the near misses we heard about. Whether you have these reminder systems or not, though, all parents and all drivers need to practice stop, look, lock. Every time you stop the car and get out of the car, look in the rear seat to make sure that there's not a child or a pet or another vulnerable occupant in the back seat. Then lock your doors to make sure that a child cannot get into the car on their own. Leave your keys and your key fobs out of reach of children, and never ever leave a child alone, not even for a minute. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Makia Wallace. Makia is going to share her personal story of heat stroke. Makia has spent 7 years as a corrections officer in Orange County, and now she has more recently joined the Orlando Police Department. Beyond her professional achievements, she's also devoted her life to raising awareness of hot car deaths and preventing them through her foundation, Love Like Jace. So, Makia?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Joe. Thank you all for being out here today. Before I begin, I just want to give God all honor, glory, and praise for just giving me the strength to stand before you today, the strength and the courage to share my story. I would also like to thank the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, Don and Rashandia and their staff here at the Mitchell's Learning Academy, and as well as Tareen, for allowing me to be a part of this impactful moment. To my Kingdom Culture family, my two beautiful daughters, my family and friends, thank you all for your continuous love, support, and prayers. I'm here today to share my story, not from a victim standpoint, but how a mother overcame a tragedy that almost took her life. You see, the pain I endured has given me a greater purpose for living, and now I'm passionate about sharing my story to prevent this kind of tragedy from happening to other families. For 16 years, I prayed for a son. Despite being able to only hold him for 21 months, I witnessed a private prayer become a public testimony, and now I hold on to that promise of spending eternity with my sunshine. I want to start off by describing this gift of grace from God. Jace Lucas Leslie. He was a unique kid. He didn't require much of everything or anything, but he gave everything. A big, beautiful smile after a stressful day at work. Hugs that will last a lifetime, and kisses you can never wash away. He was loving, smart, and energetic. Very curious, but he had a trusting spirit. He loved animals, especially dogs, and he loved playing basketball. But most importantly, he loved Jesus, which led me to love and trust him too. I can recall September 11, 2020 as if it was yesterday. Many days, I relived that moment, hoping this was just a bad dream. That day felt anything but strange. I arrived to work as usual and called home to have our morning motivation talk. Have a great day at school, buddy. I'll see you later. Mommy loves you. Not even knowing that later would mean a very long time. That afternoon, while having a conversation about all the amazing things a mother enjoys sharing about her one-year-old Mr. Wonderful, I received a call from his teacher. Kia, I need you to get to the school. First thing I asked, is everything okay with my baby? She replied, I'll tell you when you get there. I began to panic. Just please, tell me everything is okay with my baby. While waiting to be transported, I began to pace the floor, wondering what could have happened to Jace that couldn't wait until I picked him up. And once we arrived on the street, I remember being stuck in traffic and sitting up to get a closer look ahead when I noticed the yellow tape. I immediately began running towards his school before falling to my knees and screaming, God, what happened to my baby? It's like my entire body just went numb. And it felt like as if the world around me just became silent. The words hit me like a ton of bricks as they echoed through my ears. Jace was left in the backseat of his caregiver car for more than 7 hours in 105 degrees temperature. I'm sorry, Miss Wallace. He didn't make it. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. This wasn't a bad dream, but a reality. Losing a child isn't something I would wish on anyone. After several attempts to pursue what seemed like justice to me, I became angry and bitter. I wanted revenge while slowly falling into a deep depression. Early mornings, I would wake up yearning to take my baby boy to school, but no one to get dressed. I thought about all the songs and conversations we would have, how we were planning to celebrate his second birthday. I thought about how he loved water and would one day become the surfer I envisioned. And then, every night, I cried myself to sleep, wondering what I could have done differently. I was exhausted. No one could answer my questions, let alone share how to move forward while still holding their little one I know they didn't understand. And so I remember turning to God and asking, what do I do from here? And little by little, he began softening my hard heart until one day, the love of Christ propelled me to walk in a different direction. He wanted me to give what was given to me, not only love and forgiveness, but he wanted me to educate others. And so Love Like Jace's mission is to bring awareness and resources to the community to advance children's safety through advocacy and community outreach. And we host these events and partner with other safety organizations to bring a tragic story to reality in hopes that it will help others. Because this can happen to anyone, which is scary. But these tragedies are preventable, which is hopeful. And that's the hope I embrace now. Although I wish the story was different, however, every child I meet reminds me why it's not about me. I can't move without knowing that I can't go backwards, but I am choosing to move forward. I know my son is safe in heaven, cheering me on, saying, keep going, mommy. Fight for every child that looks like me, and be the voice for those who can't speak up. So I want to leave you with an understanding of what's really important in life. The phone calls can wait, but the safety of our children cannot. Safety is everyone's responsibility. So let's make our future leaders our #1 priority. Please, 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 remember the tips you've learned today and share them with family, with friends, with neighbors. Our children, these children, they deserve to have a chance to make a difference in this world too. Thank you all for your time. God bless you.
Thank you so much to all of our speakers. Makia, the courage and strength you displayed is to be commended. We truly appreciate you sharing your story and fully support your mission to bring awareness, resources to the community to advance children's safety through advocacy and community outreach. We now challenge each of you to not only utilize the information that has been shared today, but to share it with others and continue to spread awareness on heat stroke prevention. The more we educate, the more we can truly bring about change in our community and improve the health outcomes for our children. Speakers will be available for individual interviews. At this time, we would like to thank each of you for your support and enjoy the rest of your day.